Well, I have to say that I've lost my inner peace and that I meditate to keep because I am kind of high strung, and so I always have to work very hard at being a relaxed person. But I got so excited and so emotional about hearing the stories this morning. I want to take you home to my family, to my grandchildren, and the cancer story we've all experienced, many of us in our homes, and all the other stories. My emotions are kind of high, so I hope that I don't completely blank out by being so excited. Now, I see angels everywhere. I think we all do, in gift shops, on stationery, in art magazines, and every other place. Now, I've never really paid a lot of attention to angels. I don't really mess with that supernatural stuff. You know, I'm very practical. Now, I know that there are two types of angels. There's an archangel, and there are just regular plain old angels. I know that Gabriel is one that comes out and makes big pronouncements, and I know that Michael is a protector. I hear angels sing. I hear them sing every morning when the school children pass my house, when I hear their voices. I hear them in nature, and I hear the songs of a well-trained choir. Now, one thing you need to know about me is I like to travel the back roads. I like to get in my car and go as fast as I can, with the radio as loud as it'll go, with the windows down, and I feel that car sail along. I love to drive like that. Now, I've driven all over the world. I've driven in small towns when there's only 2 lanes. I've been on bridges where there's 2-way traffic in 1 lane. And I've driven in big inner cities where there are no lane markers, and you just ease your car in and make your own. Well, this happened a few years ago to me. Something is wrong. Something is wrong, not with my car, but with me. And I had to pull my car over to the side of the road. And I sat there and I rolled down the window because I couldn't breathe. I was trying to get my breath. I opened the car door to get out, and when I tried to get out, my legs would not support me. I thought, I'm going to faint. I'm having a heart attack out here all by myself. And then I realized I had experienced my first anxiety attack. Now, some of you that have experienced it know exactly what I'm saying. You get hot, you get scared, and you get weak. Well, I calmed down and I drove that car home. And I found out shortly after that I have a very common phobia. I cannot drive on the highway. Well, last spring, one of my classmates invited me to be the guest speaker at the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life. I was really excited, but it was clear on the west side of the city, a place I had never explored, but I knew I could do this. Well, the Saturday night came and I left early, and I took my little portable Garmin, my GPS, and I keyed in the destination, and away the 2 of us went. And we went up and down on Happy Canyon Road, west. I'd never been out there before. And I looked around, and it was just like being in farmland, and I thought, wow, you know, here I'm going to sail. And it told me, it says, go up this avenue, make a sharp left-hand turn. And then up above, I could see, right up there on the horizon, the interstate. And I thought, oh my. And it said to me, come on, big girl, get in the wrong lane and I'll have you for lunch. And I thought, no, Ruth, don't think that way. Don't panic. Stay in the center lane and you will be all right. Don't move. And I looked and I saw all the signs of this monstrous interstate telling me who it was and what it was going to do. And I looked down and I saw all these cars bumper to bumper. And I thought, just stay in the center lane. Well, I tell you, I sailed right over that interstate. I didn't fall off. I didn't crash. It was going to be a good night. Well, the storytelling went well. I loved it, and they loved me. And they asked me to stay and tell another story. Well, I wanted to be out of there before it was really dark, but I said, yes, I'll stay. And so I did stay. And I got in my car and I thought, good evening. I punched in that Garmin and I said, Garmin, take me home. Well, I have to tell you, my Garmin has a mind of its own.
I have one the same way.
Oh, and you know what? It decided I'm not going to take her home the same way I brought her here. And so I'm thinking about the evening, I'm tired, and I missed my turn. And all of a sudden, I looked up and I saw this sign, and it said, I-17 north, this lane. I-17 south, this lane. And I tell you, all 4 lanes said I-17. I had no lane to go east. All of a sudden, my foot started to come off the accelerator. The car was going slower and slower, and I was breathing more shallow and more shallow. I knew I was going to faint right there on that busy, busy street. And my car came almost to a stop, and then we were just coasting. And I thought, where's the Garmin? Where's the GPS? And I reached over, and it had transferred itself to the highway maps. And it was nothing but black and red and just a bunch of little dots that were automobiles all around me. Well, people started honking and they started yelling at me and they started passing me. And I sat there trying to get my breath, the air going, the window down. And I thought, I'm going to die. I'm going to die here tonight. And I sat there and I looked around, and all I could see was the highway below and the highway here and the ramps to get me there and nowhere else to go. And then I saw over here a little piece of concrete, and it had a yield sign on it. And I thought, yeah, yield for me, people. Stop, stop. But no one would yield. And I thought, where's the phone? And I reached for the phone and I dialed 911. What is your emergency? My emergency is that I have a driving phobia and I'm having an attack and I can't drive. Send an officer to help me and have him bring someone with him to drive my car. I'm about to die. Please hurry. Just stay there. We'll have someone there as soon as we can. I have you sighted now. Please take your car and drive it over to the curb and up on the curb. You're not listening to me. I can't make the car move. I'm sitting here. I'm dying. I was crying so hard that I couldn't sing for breath. I couldn't do anything. And she said, put your car over. I'll get someone there as soon as I can. Well, I knew that my time was going to come, and I didn't know what to do about it. I sat there, and about that time, I could see sighted beside me an SUV. And I thought, go on around me, because we're going to crash. And I asked the dispatcher, I said, should I get out of the car? Should I get out of the car and go to that yield sign? Or should I stay in my car? And she says, do what you need to do. We cannot advise. Can you imagine? She was politically correct at that very moment. And I thought, oh, well, I'll just stay here because my legs will not let me get out. And as the SUV came up, I thought, go around, family, because I don't want to take someone else with me tonight to my death. Oh, Lord, help me. I heard her say to me, do you need some help? And I looked at this girl in the car with her window rolled down, and I said, yes, I do. Can you drive my car? And she says, of course I can. And I tell you that Jehovah sent that angel. He was busy elsewhere, and he didn't have time for me that evening, but he did send me an angel. And she got out of the car in that traffic and got in my car. Well, I went from the front seat over to the back seat. Now, to this day, I do not know why I didn't stay in the front seat or why I didn't get out and go, but I actually had the strength. I hopped over the seat. I couldn't tie the seatbelt because I was so shook up. And all the time, the dispatcher is on the phone with me. She's saying, do not surrender your car. Do not surrender your car. Ruth, I have an officer on the way. Just stay there. Don't let that stranger in your car. Do not surrender your car. I says, I'm surrendering my car. I'm surrendering it to this angel. She says, who is it, Ruth? Do not hang up your phone. Describe her to me. Tell me what she looks like, Ruth. And the girl, she says, what is her name? And the girl turned to me in the back seat. And she says, tell her, my name is Gabby. Now, if one of you doesn't have goosebumps, I will wonder, because to me, Gabby is the feminine of that little archangel. And she drove me through the roundabout, and her husband followed, and we went over to the shopping center. And I sat there, and I took some deep breaths. I got my legs back. She made sure I was well. And I told the dispatcher, I am safe now. I can drive myself home. And Gabby told me how to get myself home without that silly garment, just in case it decided to act up again. And I have to tell you that I told you before about one being the pronouncer, Gabriel, and the other being my protector. But that night, I think they job shared. And I have to tell you, I still don't mess around with supernatural things, and I'm not sure I believe in them. But I do know one thing I believe in. I believe in angels.